There is something powerful and disturbing happening in our time. A shift, a turning point. And in the middle of it stands a figure whose name is not random, not chosen by chance. Pope Leo XIV. That name carries a weight from history, a voice that echoes through time, and a message that many have not yet understood. But it is a message we must hear now, because what is coming may change everything about how we live, how we think, and even what it means to be human. When Pope Leo XIV chose his name, it was not a small decision. In the Catholic tradition, a pope's name is not just a title. It's a message. It's a sign. It is a way of telling the world what kind of mission he believes he has been given by God. And the name, Leo, is not just a name of the past. It is a voice from history rising again to speak to our time. It's like Leo XIII spoke to the chaos of the Industrial Revolution. Leo XIV is speaking to the deep confusion of the digital age. Pope Leo XIII lived in a time when the world was being reshaped. Machines were taking over the work of men. Cities were growing fast, but so was poverty. Workers were treated like tools, families were falling apart, and money became more important than people. But Leo XIII did not stay silent. He gave the Church and the world a powerful message. Rerum Novarum. It was more than a document. It was a cry for justice. It reminded the world that workers are not machines, that families must be protected, and that profit cannot be the highest goal. Today, Leo XIV faces a different but equally dangerous world. It is no longer the machines of the factory that threaten people. Now it is something colder, more invisible, and harder to resist. It is artificial intelligence. It is the power of data. It is the rise of a new elite group of people who control not just money, but information, minds, and even truth itself. These people are not kings. They are not politicians. They are not even spiritual leaders. They are technocrats. Data managers, innovators, investors, people who believe in numbers, not souls, growth, not grace, efficiency, not empathy. For them, the human person is not sacred. He is a user, a product, a number, a cost. If he does not produce, he is not needed. If he cannot adapt, he is left behind. The Church, once again, is standing at a threshold. Just like it stood at the edge of the industrial age, it now stands before the digital age. And Pope Leo XIV is not just offering an opinion. He is raising a warning. He sees what is coming. And he is not afraid to speak. In this new era, man is not being exploited the way he was in the factories. He is being rewritten. His thoughts, his choices, his value, they are being shaped by systems that most people do not understand. Algorithms decide what we see, what we buy, what we believe. Artificial intelligence is praised as a miracle of progress, but it is slowly replacing something deeper. The human soul. We are told that this is freedom, that this is the future. But is it? What kind of future turns people into data points? What kind of progress forgets the person? Pope Leo XIV is asking the world to think again, to look again, and to remember something that is being forgotten. That every human being is created in the image of God, and no machine, no matter how advanced, can replace that. This is not just about technology. It is about meaning. It is about the soul of our culture. In the past, even the most powerful kings had to answer to someone higher. They knew there was a law above their own. But today, many leaders believe they are the law. They answer to no one, not to God, not to the people, not even to truth itself. And that is why this moment is dangerous. What Pope Leo XIV is doing is not easy. Many around him are silent. Many inside the Church have grown comfortable with compromise. They speak soft words, words that please the world but do not challenge. Words about inclusion and adaptation, but not about truth and courage. And yet the faithful feel something is missing. They know that the world is changing, and they are looking for guidance that is clear, not vague. True, not trendy. That is why the choice of the name Leo matters so much. It is not just a memory. It is a sign of a mission. Leo XIII faced the powerful forces of industry. Leo XIV now faces the silent force of artificial control. Both understood something many forget. When man is no longer seen as sacred, everything becomes possibly of an injustice that looks efficient, even control that looks like convenience. In many ways, this moment is more subtle than the past. Today's elite do not need armies or empires. They have systems, platforms, networks, and above all, data. They shape how we work, how we speak, even how we pray. Many jobs that gave life, meaning are being taken by automation. And no one seems to ask what happens to those who are left behind. Once work was seen as a gift, a vocation, a way to take part in creation. But now it is being reduced to a cost, a number on a spreadsheet. People are being left out and no one seems responsible. No one seems to care. And inside the church, some voices that should be strong have gone silent. Some bishops speak in language that sounds more like the world of management than the world of faith. Some theologians focus on being accepted rather than being faithful. But Pope Leo XIV is not one of them. He is not trying to be popular. He is trying to be true. He knows that this is a time for clarity, not comfort. For courage, not applause. For a voice that speaks not what people want to hear, but what they need to hear. He is not just talking about the future of work or the dangers of AI. He is talking about the very idea of man. What is a person? What is life for? These are the deepest questions of our time, and only a church that dares to speak with faith, reason, and love can answer them. Just like Leo XIII once called the church to defend the worker and the family. Leo XIV is calling the church to defend something even more basic, the human being himself. Not just his rights, but his soul. Not just his job, but his dignity. Because when truth is replaced by opinion, when value is replaced by utility, then humanity is at risk. That is why this moment is prophetic. The crisis we are facing today is not just about machines or data. It is not just about losing jobs or changing lifestyles. It goes deeper than that. It is about losing our direction, losing the very foundation of who we are. In this world of rapid change, where truth is treated like a personal choice and values shift like the wind, people are beginning to feel lost. And when people feel lost, they search for something steady, something unchanging. That is why the voice of the church matters now more than ever. Pope Leo XIV sees the confusion clearly. He knows that technology, though useful, is not neutral. It shapes how we think. It influences how we feel. More than anything, it changes how we see each other. When everything becomes data, people stop being persons. They become results, behaviors, and patterns. But a person is not a pattern. A person is not a line of code. A person is a mystery, a soul, a reflection of the Creator. The world today often forgets that. It talks about progress, but forgets purpose. It praises innovation, but forgets intention. It builds faster and faster, but never stops to ask, why are we building? For whom? At what cost? That is where the church must step in, not as an enemy of progress, but as a guardian of meaning. Not to stop development, but to guide it. Because without guidance, even the greatest invention can become a danger. Without values, even the most powerful technology can turn against the person it was supposed to help. And yet, as this change sweeps through every part of life, many voices that should be strong are growing weak. Inside the church, some leaders no longer speak with the power of prophets. They speak like diplomats, careful not to offend. They worry more about being accepted by society than about being faithful to the gospel. They speak of unity, but forget that unity without truth is just confusion. They speak of peace, but forget that peace without justice is only silence. Pope Leo XIV seems to understand that the time for silence is over. He sees that this new era, the era of digital power and artificial intelligence, requires not only new answers, but deeper answers. Because what is being challenged is not just how we live, but who we are. The machines of today are not only doing work for us, they're starting to think for us, decide for us, and even replace our relationships with automated interactions. In such a world, what happens to love? What happens to freedom? What happens to the human heart which longs for connection, not just convenience? Leo XIV understands this danger. He knows that the Church cannot simply adjust to these changes. It must respond with truth. It must remind the world that man is not a machine, and he must never be treated like one. It must say, again and again, that no system, no software, no artificial intelligence can take the place of the human conscience. And yet, for this message to be heard, the Church must find its voice again. It must remember that its strength is not in numbers or approval, but in its faithfulness to God. It must remember that it was never called to follow the world, but to lead it toward the truth. This is not easy. The pressures of our time are great. Many people want a church that is soft, that agrees with everything, that never challenges. But the world does not need a church that says nothing. It needs a church that speaks with clarity, with love, with courage. A church that reminds every person that they are not just useful, they are loved. That their value does not come from what they do, but from who they are. Leo XIV is not trying to create fear. He is trying to open eyes.